Here we are. Let's have a look at it. I did a quick count and we have about 300 litres in these, what you call garrafas. These are 25 litre garrafas. So I have 12 of those, and the rest has been decanted into 5 litre bottles ready for sale. There's 6 pressings here. The original 4 pressings were all within 0.5, which means they are, in fact, a very high quality extra virgin olive oil. 0.5 is the acidity rating. It's a measurement of hydrogen ions. Now, the last 2 pressings were 1.5 and 1.2. Yeah, and that makes it a virgin, which means it's still very saleable. It's cheaper, still very saleable. Now, these 2 pressings, 1.2 and 1.5, finished up all the trash that was on the floor. And you'll be surprised, it was full of, everything you can imagine that lives underneath an olive tree, and including the dogs. So once they wash the olives, pass it through various processes, they press for the oil, and then, as you know, oil is an antibiotic, a natural antibiotic. So this is my providence, really. This is what I would call my justice. It's the land presenting me for my hard work during the year, a gift which now has to sustain me. Let's move along. It's a lot of wind today. And I'm straight here to a kumquat. Now, it's located next to a burial. There's a tomb for one of my old dogs called Jerry Boy. He was my favourite dog, he was the running dog, and he used to live with me in the caravan. So I planted a vine. But the last of the old dogs is on its way out, and his name is Jerry. His name is Jesse, sorry. And Jesse was Jerry's partner, basically. And they used to run off together and get lost and then come back. So I'm waiting for him to die, and then when he dies, I will plant him here with the kumquat to represent him. But saying that, there she is, Queen Dora. Where's my foxy lady? I want to say Happy Christmas to my viewers. See if she'll follow me around. She's now my caravan dog, a female. A couple of lemons on there. And I've planted up a little row of seed almond trees, which I grown from seed, with ricinus or castor oil plant, a fig, and a couple of pomegranates. I don't know if you can really capture the landscape, but to me it looks rather beautiful. We've had a lot of rain. Let's come around this way, and the grass is coming back just in time, really, because the last of the olives needed to be plucked out of the herb on the ground. So here we are. This is Belinda's grave, and I planted a pomelo, or what you know as a grapefruit. And my row of cypress trees, which did extremely well. And now this is going to be the wind protection for when I start planting up some sort of diverse landscape. And I'm going to probably use a combination of valley cropping and fruit trees. And maybe even a little bit of a forest garden. But there's not much you can grow in very shallow soil. So, you have to be very specific. My last volunteer, and I planted up a couple of hazels here. Well, in fact, it was one hazel, and I split it and planted it in 2 places. But this is Queen Dora and Yeoman Benji, half masked in there, and there's a half German Shepherd, which is my favourite running dog now. His name is Prince Jerry. And Lopez. Come on, Lopez. Lopez. Saying Happy Christmas. Lopez. Come here, Lopez. Yes. Duke Lopez. Duke Lopez is in fact the brother of Queen Dora. So what we got here, we got a pile of wood. Now this is carried over from last year, and this is going to be made into charcoal. It's ongoing, but I make a lot of it now, and I use it to heat up a caravan. I use it for cooking, outdoor cooking. I use it for planting, and I also use it in my dry Copperson toilet. Whoop, running out of energy, so I better be quick on this. As you can see, still got a ways to go, and I've just been gifted all of these, what they call coffins, or coffins. They are in fact the mats I use for pressing olive oil. They were throwing them out, they renew them every year, and one of these mats costs €30 to buy, and they give me about 50 of them. They're just throwing them out. I did a day's volunteering at the traditional mill. So that there is a dried paste of olives and stone. And that's what they extract the oil from. So there's all my biochar. And toilet from the back. And I use ground charcoal as well to mix in with my human manure. My system's working really well here. And after reinforcing the whole structure, I basically come up with a simple idea of putting a bar across here, because the wind really does blow along here. Hence why I have the cypress trees. So let's have a look. I have to close this up. The cypress trees are quick rain, wind breaks, essential for any real permaculture system. There we are. So eventually you'll see figs growing up here, and I've got a kiwi in the other corner, but you can see how verdant I am at this time in the year. Bulb beans, the first load I planted, have come through, and you may even see the first flowers coming through now, but really you can eat the tips of these just as you would a salad. And look at these. And this is kale, and I just eat and munch on kale anytime I'm passing through. I love it. There's some ornamental plants here, but one of the best discoveries I had was this, I think it's a version of Crassula. It's a succulent. Look at it, it's a bee plant. Now it's a windy day today, so we haven't seen so many bees here. But it's been in flower for about 3 weeks. And considering I've got about 8 or 10 of these, it's a superb attractant if I need to pollinate anything here, and I do. And I have like some citrus trees which still haven't produced in 4 or 5 years, but they will come again. And here probably I'm going to get my next courgettes. Now I haven't been really productive. Artichokes, and I've just been planting up small relish. Lots of self-seeded parsley. In fact, the radishes also are self-seeding now. Lots of garlic and onion coming through. So nothing really too edible, but there are cabbages there. And I just don't eat that much cabbage. I'll give a lot of stuff away. And that's what it's all about. Surplus. You get a surplus and you give it away. And this is interesting here. This is a drought-resistant parsnip. So we'll see how well they do. I'm hoping I can just go away and leave the whole system to take care of itself. I'm still getting tomatoes. It's the second coming, basically. Look at that. Hey, my dad had given up on watering them when I wasn't here for 1 week. But I watered them, they came back, and then we had some really good weather. And we're still getting the sun and days up to 19, 20 degrees centigrade. So, in terms of what you can eat, not much, a lot of green stuff, but it is that time in the year. Parsley. And this ornamental Tradescantia is in fact a bee attractant also. So the bees need flower this time of the year. I'm going to go to the bees. But saying that, the rosemary and the gorse are now coming into flower. the last 2 months, it's been a barren time, really. November, mid-December, when there wasn't really that much around. So let's have a look at this cistern. And this is what I'm going to focus on next, because the trees have been a priority. And there we are. Just got to fill in that hole, put the pipe work in and get some concrete in here, and then I can rest with peace of mind. Get a good view here, maybe of the volunteer caravan which I secured from my neighbours when they sold up. Let's have a quick look at it, because I know my battery power is running out. And you can see I've got a charcoal burner. Woo! I can heat this place up 3 hours in the evening. That's all you need in this climate. 3 hours in the evening and you can go to bed. Wow. So what I do is I keep a lot of wild, there's a lot of rosemary and scrub oak, and you know, they all produce flower that the bee can use. But then we're coming up to the bees, and we're right on top of the Barranc del Stani, and later I'm going to take the dogs down to the sea and walk back this way. So it's about 6 kilometres. Here we are. You can see there's actually no bees flying. Why? Because it's just that windy, and when the wind comes, the temperatures drop by 4 or 5 degrees. Yeah. So what have I been eating at this time of year? Well, I've got a couple of strawberry trees, and I'm going to take you now at double pace. Here we are. And there's not much of it left. A lot of it's falling now. As soon as that wind comes, anything that's loose just drops to the ground. But here we are, see, it's just finished producing its fruit, and hardly anything left on it, but the flowers come already. And apparently you don't want too much of it either. So there we are. Another reclaimed, remember, I reclaimed 3 trees, olive trees this year, and all 3 of them produced olives. So it's worth looking at what abandoned land we have, and thinking about it, not forgetting about it. So here we are, more bees, and I realise that this time of the year it's really quite pleasant just to come here and look at the bees. And I'm particularly watching this green hive because I actually stole a frame of brood from another hive, because the queen just isn't laying that much, and I'm not sure if it's a rogue queen or a full queen. And what I mean by a rogue queen, I mean they can produce like what you call surrogate queen if they don't produce a full queen, a fully evolved queen, for one reason or another. And there could be various reasons for it, but I've had 2 or 3 opportunities to try and reinstate a queen in there, and in the end, that's my result. I've got a hive that doesn't produce, so I've got a queen that doesn't produce that many eggs. So I'm going to keep it alive during the winter, and we'll see what happens in the spring if I can repopulate it with a fully evolved queen. So now we're coming up to my outdoor kitchen, and the place where I live. Here we are. As you can see, it's going to be my cooking area. It's wonderful. I watch bees here. There's only a couple at the moment. I prepare something and maybe some food, or I'm building or screwing something together. There's bees all around me. There's a water tank, and I've got some bees up there that are going to be calls during the spring. It's April, really. Eventually I'm going to get this structure up. Now I've got a great sponsor who's bought me some equipment, and they bought me a hammer drill, an electric hammer drill, which means I can make these holes deeper, and I can raise these poles up without the threat of the wind blowing them down. And that's my quick tour, really. I mean, I've had 1 or 2 other sort of passing travellers and volunteers, and they haven't really done anything in terms of physical contribution companionship, well, I get that from the dogs and just from my visits to town. I mean, I do know quite a lot of people, and this is what you call Mary Louisa. This has got the highest content of citronella. It's in fact planted by a volunteer on top of a stump, an old almond tree stump. And these cypress trees, you can see where the wind's coming from, so this is going to be a sort of double windbreak. Which is the system. I should pack up and say Merry Christmas to all my African and Turkish friends and various friends around Spain and Britain who I keep in touch with. But it looks like I'm really staying here. I've been here for a year now and I've had a great success of it really. Got a lot of work to do. It's a lot of physical work now. And I'm always looking for volunteers, but to be honest, short-term volunteers, I'm losing interest. I really need someone who can come here, stay 2 or 3 months, so I don't have to repeat myself over and then see all my good instruction disappear until the next volunteer comes. So, travellers, camper vans, people who have, to a degree, can look after themselves but enjoy the fact of working on a permaculture project. Merry Christmas 220.